Welcome to this Go Vols 24/7 No-Huddle. I'm Patrick Brown here with Ryan Callahan, and we are talking, looking ahead to Tennessee's home opener on Saturday, Ryan, against ETSU or East Tennessee State, depending on your preference. But the Bucs are out of the FCS, but under new coach and Will Healy, who coached at Austin Peay and Charlotte and did some good things at those schools, and they will be excited for their second ever meeting at Neyland Stadium. So, Ryan, what can we expect from ETSU? They've got a couple of power forward transfers at quarterback that I think in their first game against Murray State seemed to rotate a little bit, right? Some Steve Spurrier back and forth kind of stuff.
Yeah, that's going to be a little weird to see, but it sounds like that is still the plan right now. But a couple, high-profile transfers in Cade McNamara, who of course played at Iowa most recently, started his career at Michigan, and then Jacoby Criswell, who started off at North Carolina, went to Arkansas for a year, and then back to North Carolina for a year, and now is in his 6th year of eligibility, finishing his career at ETSU. Both those guys pretty talented. They have slightly different skill sets, so it makes sense that they kind of complement each other. And if you don't know, a head coach you would probably recognize in Will Healy as well in his first year at ETSU was seen as a kind of an up-and-comer when he got hired at Charlotte. Didn't work out there long-term, and then kind of to work his way back up with a couple assistant jobs, was at Georgia State last year, and now getting another chance at ETSU. Only 40 years old, so certainly very possible he could use this job to catapult into another opportunity at a higher level in a few years. But definitely an interesting ETSU team, picked to finish 4th in the conference in preseason, but a team that looks like it's got a chance to maybe contend for a conference championship if they were to at least be in that discussion, if they live up to expectations in some areas. But had a pretty good year last year, went 7-5, and have a good defense to go along with those quarterbacks. Scored 45 points in their season opener against Murray State. So looks like a team that, not saying Tennessee should be on upset alert, but a team that could maybe give Tennessee a test in some areas and at least give them some different looks to get ready for SEC play.
Yeah, Ryan, I think Josh Heupel would say, he'd probably say this a lot about a lot of games, particularly games like this, that this game is about Tennessee. And we always hear that teams make the biggest jump from game 1 to game 2. Tennessee, last year they had the FCS opener and then played an ACC team. This year it's kind of the inverse with the ACC opener. Now they're playing an FCS team. So what does Tennessee need to get out of this game in your estimation? Obviously there's some injuries that we've talked about this week that they're going to be having to deal with. You want to see, I'm sure, the offense continue to operate at a high level like they did against Syracuse. What does Tennessee need to get out of this game other than a win? Yeah,
I think this is a game like this early in the season. It's a good chance to test your depth, obviously, see who can help you in SEC play and who can't. Because let's face it, they had a bit more of a test in the opener, so shorter rotations at some positions. Wide receiver, for instance, when I only saw them play 4 guys. Darius Jackson, the true freshman, only got in on special teams, and I thought that's a guy who would play on offense. So a big chance for guys like him. Even Amari Jefferson, a second-year guy but never played at Alabama last year. Get a chance to see him play. Joakim Dotson, the other freshman there, and other players like that at other positions. Desan Brame didn't really get in the opener. You want to see him, see guys like that and what they can do and who can really help you in SEC play. And it's especially important at a couple positions where they really need to test their depth. Defensive tackle and in the secondary, where Tennessee's a bit shorthanded now after the loss of Ricky Gibson for an extended period of time, according to Josh Heupel. So freshmen like Trey Poteet, Willie Martinez, the defensive backs coach, mentioned Dylan Lewis and Timothy Merritt, guys with some positional versatility who maybe could help them there. You got to see who's an option there and who's not. You got Jermod McCoy coming back soon, you hope, but obviously still good to have other guys there who are options. And then defensive tackle to me might be the bigger concern as long as Jackson Moy is out, and we'll see how long that is. But Tennessee not very deep there. Sounds like they might move Dominic Bailey inside on a more full-time basis, but even with him there, you still ideally like to find another defensive tackle or two. So whether it's Isaiah Campbell or someone like that didn't play in the opener, you've got some other options there, even down the list. Charles House, a guy like that as a true freshman. Can anyone like that help you this year? And you've got to kind of get a better feel for what your long-term rotation is going to look like. And I think a game like this can really help in that area.
Kind of touched on this a little bit, Ryan, but this is a game where you should be able to, I don't say empty the bench, because you still want to play your guys, get them the workload they need. But who are 3 guys, and it doesn't have to be a freshman, it doesn't have to be a backup, it doesn't have to be somebody we haven't seen. Who are 3 guys that you are most interested in watching in this game on Saturday?
I didn't get into this in my previous
You already named the whole roster.
Yeah, so. I was gonna say I didn't get into this in the previous one, but I'm really interested in seeing what they do at quarterback after Joey Aguilar. If you can get him out of the game, does Jake Merklinger take the next snap? I would assume he will. And then B, can you get George McIntyre into the game? And if so, how does he look? Is the moment too big for him? Does he look ready? So I think that's really interested in seeing that. Always interested in seeing how quickly they can get the starters out of the game. That's something the staff, frankly, has not been very aggressive with in some of these types of games in the past. So can they get those guys some real work in a meaningful situation to kind of test them and see what they have at the quarterback position behind Joey Aguilar, because you're usually going to need that backup at some point. So whether it's for a series, a quarter, or a game or longer, you want to be ready there. And then I'll say Radarius Jackson too, just because we didn't see him in the opener. I think it's a guy that could factor into this offense. So really interested in seeing what he looks like and if what kind of role he might have offensively going forward. And then I'll say at defensive tackle, Isaiah Campbell. I am really interested in seeing what he looks like. I thought we might see him in the opener and at least a few snaps here and there, but didn't see that. I think he'll get in this game, and obviously a highly ranked guy. A lot of people are excited about long term, but can he help this team this year?
I'll throw 3 guys in there. I'm going to say Bennett Warren. He's maybe that next tackle. What do they do? They should get David Sanders back.
Yeah.
I think that's the expectation. The other guy I wanted to see is I had a list of guys in my head, but Jaden Harmon at linebacker. We saw him a little bit in the opener. What does he do after growing a little bit there? Oh, my third guy was Braylon Staley. I know we saw him a lot last week, but man, he blocked his what off. It was really physical in the perimeter. I want to see him continue to do that and make big plays for Tennessee in the passing game. That's it for our No Huddle here on Thursday of ETSU week. We'll see you guys on Saturday at Neyland Stadium for the home opener, 3:30. It is streaming on ESPN Plus, SEC Network Plus. We'll have a story about how you can access that. But for Ryan Callahan, I'm Patrick Brown. See you guys later.